Well, yes, we have been here for quite some time, listening and observing the reactions and the emotions and the topics and conversations with great curiosity, because we're seeing all the working parts that are unfolding and taking place with these events, of the conversations with these people. It is all very natural that you are curious about people, and what makes them tick, and it is of great interest to us as well. So you are helping us explore the perceptions of people and their reactions.
Yes, definitely very curious about that. Do you have any uh, words in in at this moment on that topic?
Hmm. Yes, it is interesting how everyone feels very heightened to try and do their inner work and not even know where the map is to start, where their inner work journey begins. And we are seeing any conflict, anything that pulls your attention, anything that you must focus on and notice, that is your inner work saying hello. Your inner work may be a co-worker, a colleague, a family member, a friend, yourself, that may be wanting you to stop and look and examine the emotions and the responses and the triggers that are unfolding. Many of you who have avoided conflict like the plague have now time to keep looking at this conflict. The beauty and the blessing of facing conflict is that once it's resolved, you realize, oh, that actually wasn't as bad. That was not bad as what I was imagining and exaggerating in my mind and blowing up with my fear-based worry and concern. Actually, dealing with that conversation. So it's not really conflict. It's just having conversations with someone that actually went so much better. It actually, oh gosh, dare I say it, empowered me and empowered the other person. Because when there is conflict and friction and conversations that must be spoken to and about, it actually helps everyone. You need to speak to each other. And right now, when so many people don't want to share their thoughts and feelings and emotions with each other, you create these barriers, these blocks. And it is time for you to unblock those, especially the people that are in your lives that are wanting your attention. So it is about acknowledging them and sharing your feelings and being of service.
Thank you so much. Thank you a lot for that guidance there.
Just want,
I am.
just want to say the people who are empowered and love themselves and have strengthened themselves to not need approval from others will have beautiful boundaries and can naturally support others without being dragged into that drama. And the people that have been dragged into drama need to look at where their boundaries lay. And if you are getting intolerant to because people are not respecting you or your time or your boundaries, it's appropriate for you to not. While you can be unconditional loving beings to everyone, you do not have to love their behavior and their reactions to you, especially disrespect. No one deserves disrespect, and that is a perfect way to pause the conversation and to say, I will speak to you when you have more respect for me.
Thank you. Can you give a little more guidance on boundaries?
Mm.
What are boundaries? Yeah, what are boundaries?
Do you respect others who do not respect you? Do you get pushed into questionable morals? Your friends can take you to crazy town and if you accept their invitation. And so having a boundary to say, no, I would like to go to a healthy party rather than a crazy town event, you get choices. So you choose your moral compass. You choose what is the most high vibrational options for you. If you do not have very good boundaries, you are allowing other people to choose for you. And so they could have their own agenda They could have their own inner issues that they're avoiding and not addressing. And so if you do not have boundaries of others, you're accepting the questionable boundaries that other people have for themselves. And you will be influenced with their lack of inner work.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm going to, we have some questions for you today.
Oh, we like having questions for us because from our perspective, all your big troubles seem very delightful and charming, and we just want to help assist you because it's just merely it's a switch of perception that can help relieve your problems and questions and queries. So we're always very diligently willing to help you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Um, is there, I'm trying to figure out the best question, to ask right this minute. I'm going to go ahead and start out with, are we able to know more about the change of the shift from before this year?
Yes, the delays.
Yes.
We should say that people who have not done their inner work, who do not have strength, when you have inner love for yourself, it's easy to have those boundaries. And so when you are worried about peer pressure and what other people will think and feel of you, if you stick to your own inner work and strengthen your boundaries and not be pushed around, then there would be more of humanity that has grown and expanded. Many should have shared how empowered they are with their own truths to others. And this was not translated because of the fear of peer pressure and not being able to speak your truths. And so there's now more of an opportunity to speak your truths. There's many things that delayed this shift. Many people wanted to be more, they were so close to awakening. Remember, it's not just this one lifetime people are dealing with. They are dealing with multiple lifetimes here where they have experience, and this is their last one that they can master. And when they have worked so diligently for all of these lifetimes, to have a little bit more extra time when everything is more obvious, they want to wake up naturally. They are going to be offended if people wake them up and they shift without the opportunity. And there was more people that really, 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 really needed just some more bonus months to be able to do that inner work that was so heavily pressed onto them. And while many were very ready to be able to shift, those people now have been of lighthouse workers, shall we say, that have been able to help guide more to be able to share their truths. The more people talk about their truths, the more people can feel comfortable knowing, oh, this is the flow. Now, this is where all like-minded people are, and people are finding bigger groups that are all like-minded, and then the power and strength of a few feels stronger than all. It's the support groups that profoundly magnify the energy and the intentions together. Previously, you all felt so disconnected because of the lockdowns. And the lockdowns were the start to really make sure if you had any more inner work to do, you would be facing it right now as all of your routines were paused. So there was many reasons why this shift did not occur. The biggest one was there needed to be more opportunity for some of the bigger starseed families to be prepared for what they needed to endure. And so there was some shuffling around and some quick scurrying to change who needed to be on this earth, change who didn't need to be on this earth. This may sound strange, but there needed to be a lot more walk-ins to experience what was going to take place. And so it was more purposeful. We understand that we haven't given you a definitive one reason why the shift did not occur. But you can guarantee that the reason why it didn't occur as we were predicting is because there needed to be greater growth. And it was always going to be for very serious and very significant purposes. And it wasn't just to muck you guys around at all. And we are sorry that some really struggled with being mucked around time wise, but the emotions that you had to get to be prepared one way or another, whether you refused to believe the shift was going to happen, or you're afraid of the shift was going to happen, or you're looking forward to the shift. You had to get to certain emotions to be able to get to that point, which all in heightened. You all had to process things quite fast and be challenged with quite big concepts. So the growth, the inner work growth, has been profound for some. Of course, just for some.
Thank you. That was a perfect answer. Not a perfect answer, but it was a very good answer. I wasn't looking for one thing. There is probably lots of stuff that we even on this planet don't even know all of, even what's currently going on here, without talking about any of the other beings not on this planet.
It would literally take us months of continually talking to be able to cover every individual thing that is going on this planet that is of significance about the shift and what is really going on with at every layer, because there's so many people, there is so many working wheels, there's so many important people here on this, well, important beings on this planet for very significant reasons. There's a lot going on, and we understand that the people are still frustrated, going, well, what's happened? I can't see anything. Nothing's changed for me, X, Y, and Z. They're just, they're still waiting for big fireworks. They're waiting for something. And we can say when something does start happening, they will suddenly realize, oh my gosh, I was so silly for being so impatient, because no one will really be ready for it when it happens.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Will there be a certain starseed family that's staying on Old Earth?
Yes. Yes, it is the low vibrational frequencies that are set into their DNA. So there is many that you would label them as the reptilians. And then there is some Draco families. And then there is a few others. So they are here. They are here for a very important lesson, experience. The purpose that they need to be here for is to profoundly understand the significance of what happens when manipulation and control destroys a planet and potentially takes away the free will of a species such as humans.
Thank you. What impact will the collective of those starseeds experience more?
The significant experiences that they will experience on the old Earth will impact the collective profoundly, because they've never had to be on the other foot. They've never had to experience the conclusions of their own actions. They are having to firsthand experience what it feels like to have no control. It is profound. The collective will be so profoundly impacted by this experience. It will be forced indeed, to grow expansiveness and consciousness, to see that their evolution needs to take a hold and grow and expand and evolve with more compassion. And this is something that they thought was pretty ugly for their species, They didn't feel like they needed to be evolving. They didn't feel like they needed those silly things called emotions and integrity and a whole lot of other stuff. They like to have their lives the way that they have. It's always worked for them. They realize once you start buying into the emotional scheme and start adding that into the mix of who you are, there's lots of learning there. They are one scale of the evolution, and they were quite happy doing and being there all over the galaxies. But this is a very important lesson for them to realize what it feels like to have profound destruction and to have all of those lower emotions apply themselves to them, as well as have profound connections of others and truly have to survive together in quite an intensive environment. It is a pressure cooker to survive. You're in profound survival mode. And so when you can trust others, they are your survival companions, and they become so profoundly respectful of each other for what they do, because they can see who's cooking their meals, they can see who's washing the clothes, they can see all of this stuff. It works. They can see all of the jobs and duties and chores that everyone does. You become a tribe again. And when you have to rely on each other as a tribe, you all take on your roles and you all feel very valid and important and special and part of your roles. You work together as a team. No one is important as anyone else, and you're only as strong as your weakest link. And so to experience this is quite different from your individual house living, independent lives where you're not having to do true manual work and true connections of others. This is profound. This is extreme living.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Was this all part of their contracts, of their life contracts?
It wasn't as such. They expected that they would still be able to live on this planet in 3D for as long as they wanted. However, because they have manipulated and muddied the waters, shall we say, things have changed. And so they are having to have their contracts extended forcibly. You've heard maybe this saying that this is a prison planet, and it is actually for some of the reptilians who are having to be forced to experience this. This is very significant. Why they must be trapped into experiencing this now, so then they can make different choices. When their souls experience what they're about to experience, their future lives will be quite different. They will not be in revenge mode. They will have more compassion, deep compassion. And so their future lives may not have been always compassionate. And it's extremely important that they learn these lessons now on old Earth. So in their future, for their collective and the individual soul essences, they will have more responsibility of their reactions and being more aware of the consequences that they do.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Regarding the people on the old Earth, from your perspective, how is the best way to process trauma about being left behind?
It will feel very personal for many reasons. There will be a mix of emotions, from feeling extremely lucky to having survivor's guilt to feeling all sorts of a range of emotions. It won't be until they realize, and for some of them, it won't be until they have left that life, that not every, when there's no true death, when it's merely just moving from one dimension to another dimension, when they realize that, they will feel quite surprised, because they will have that abandonment issue of, well, why not me? But when they do realize, when they do understand that it's because of their starseed families need to experience this, and that there is no good or bad experiences, it's just for growth. You will only keep touching a flame with your finger a certain amount of times before you learn that that burns you. And so that is an experience. It's a good experience when you know not to touch it, because you know it burns and you know the consequences of it. And so we want to say that when they realize why they had to experience it, of course, it's not always just going to be the starseed families of the reptilians. There is others that have chosen to be here as well. It needed to be more heart-based, centered people who also had who can deliver true compassion. While the reptilian starseeds look human, they are, of course, purposely needing to experience this. So you will be in amongst a tribe of, say, 10, and you will not notice or really know the difference between what starseed family you're from. Just like now, when you're in a public area and there is many people, you cannot tell. Doesn't matter what you think you know in terms of, well, this person looks like a Palladian, this person looks like a whatever. We love how you humans have to label everything and think that you know how to pick out someone's soul family from a mere physical. This is how materialistic and how judgmental you all are, trying to put people into boxes. So we're wanting to say that the other starseed families that are going to be there on the old Earth are going to be support people. This is important for many reasons. You have to be able to have other people with different perspectives to be able to support. Again, for future roles and future lives. When you all work together on the old Earth and help each other profoundly, when you leave that lifetime and can see who helped you and why, you will have profound respect of other starseed systems as well, and other starseed families, and you will have honor and integrity because of the hardships that you had to experience and explore together. It's all very purposeful. It's just bigger than what most humanity can cope with understanding and hearing.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful for all of the lessons today and the information. So grateful. How would, what's the best way to process rejection? Will people feel rejection after the shift?
Absolutely. Rejection is an interesting emotion because it's really your perception of someone disapproving. And so we are constantly seeking approval from others. So we determine if we are being rejected or not. And always other people do not actually reject us. We are very used to rejecting ourselves from other people's actions, which are not rejection. You do not go out to reject someone. That is not an action that most people do. But most of the times when people feel rejected, that was never the intention of the person that is perceived to have dished out that rejection. And so this is another emotion that you put onto yourselves. So it's a reaction to a situation. You feel rejected because of your insecurities of you are not good enough, you're not included, and all that stuff. So you have to really look at the intent of the other people. If you feel rejected, then ask, because you're assuming so much. You're addicted to assuming, you're addicted to fear, you're addicted to worry and drama. What we would love from you, just for interest's sakes, what if you're addicted to believing your spiritual team had your back? what if you're addicted to understanding that metaphysical realms and other dimensions are actually got and are capable of supporting this little 3D planet? Your egos are so ridiculously adorable. You're lucky you're so sweet and cute, shall we say, because some of your behavior is atrocious and so sabotaging. We have got off track, but we know you wouldn't mind, and we know that we're entertaining and amusing you. So we will focus back on your question. Sorry, we have now distracted ourselves.
It's okay. It's beautiful. It's beautiful every second. And you went ahead and answered the question about rejection, explaining it in a bigger picture. Will there be judging of themselves for not knowing about the information earlier?
Yes, you are very all good at judging yourselves for when you decide that you want to hear or know this information. Remembering that your spiritual team only allow you to have this information when you're ready for it or should be ready for it. And so a lot of people who feel pressurized to do their inner work because they're hearing us constantly telling them, do your inner work, kids, do your inner work. And they are feeling heavily pressurized from us. We are now tapping into many people who are like, God damn it, I know they're speaking about me. So the reason why you're hearing our messages is because you're ready for it, and you should be ready for it, and you should be accepting of our information instead of resisting it. So when you are ready to get over resistance, and when you're ready to respect higher beings from a bigger perspective, bigger dimension than you, stuck in 3D with your adorable 3D minds, trying to trust the bigger plan and the bigger perspective of things, knowing that everything is purposeful, you will allow yourself to not feel disappointed in yourself that you haven't got to this information beforehand. Literally the very moment that you do get the information about the shift is when you can handle it. We have pushed people away from this content many times who accidentally stumble onto our messages because they're not ready, and it would be of disservice for them to freak out about this information when they're freaking out about things that don't even exist. So we want to say the example we wanted to say don't exist is the 5G signalings that people assume is radiating their brains out. But, you know, we're being kind of mean right now, we guess, judgy. We can be. Because if you have heard the information about 5G being harmful, you've heard from that from a light worker. You have not heard from that. You have not heard that 5G is a harmful product or a situation or wavelength from an asleep person. You have heard that from someone who thinks that they're trying to protect you. And what have they protected you from? Because they've only added fear into your world. And now they have sown that seed of fear. And many people do not understand that there is no 5G radiation effects. Really what's happening is ascension symptoms and other things that are purposely upgrading and improving your body, unless it's your mindset that is giving you a disease because you are not dealing with your inner work and you're not focusing on the things you're supposed to be focusing on. Either you're holding yourself back or you're distracting yourself. And so we want you to really know that be really accountable for where you've heard all this information from, the 5G stuff to anything else, anything that you're afraid of. Check your sources. And if you are still profoundly triggered and afraid of something that is happening in the world, you're angry for some reason, you're frustrated, you're impatient, any of those lower emotions, why don't you do something novel like coming and connecting in with your inner self and asking the purpose of that? why is this happening? What is the good for humanity? And do you trust us? If you think that we are bigger advanced beings here protecting humanity, but we're letting 5G disempower you and impact you, well, you're not really understanding the roles that we play and what we're capable of. You have no trust in your own spiritual team. You have no trust in metaphysical concepts. So really look and scratch into all of your little triggers for everything. And stop being those light workers that are spreading fear. You all should be not addicted to anything that's in the 3D. You should be open to abundance. You know how abundance works. You know how manifestation works. And we know that when you obsess with negative things or worrying things or things in 3D, it lowers your vibrations. If you're constantly thinking about and worrying about things in 3D, that is the max of your perspective and mindsets. 3D. Yes, we know you're living in the 3D, but why struggle with being in 3D when you can just have that acceptance of everything is going to plan? I am protected. I am learning these experiences. Some of them may not be my cup of tea. I may not be enjoying it as much as I could, but I'm learning from it. I'm growing from it. I'm making sure that the cycles are ending, that I am speaking my truth. We said we could talk for hours and months, and we feel like we have right now. We feel like we've been talking to you for a year now. Some of you have been listening to us for a year, and there is not much change in our content because there's really not that much change in people's perspectives still. They're still coming to terms with whether they can even trust this information. And we say, don't trust us, trust your inner self, trust what you think and feel, and don't rely on anyone else to tell you what to think and feel. And if you are so disconnected from yourself that you don't have the confidence to believe in yourself, there's your inner work.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all these lessons, for all the reminders and the lessons and the growth that come with this information. My next question is, for those who are light workers staying on the old earth, what is their role? Could you clarify some more? Help us understand some more.
It's leadership roles. It is bringing people together. It is being of love and having unconditional love for everyone. They will set up the groups, and they will be the ones that need to have the more connections. It will inspire and encourage others. They will make connections and set up trust. They will be the ones that have the most hope and the biggest perspective that they can survive and have a bigger perspective, and they have hope. There are many approaches to traumatic experiences and big events, such as being on the old earth. There are people that see problems, and there are people that see solutions. And this was explained earlier to the speaker, that it is a clear statement of your mindset. If you only see problems and keep telling people about your problems and keep telling yourself about the problems, you will always have problems. When you approach everything as a solution, that there is it's merely just a problem without a solution, and you are going to try and navigate to guess and work your way through that solution. Because as long as you are just focusing on the problems, you're not questioning yourself of the solution. And so many people only want to focus on the problems. They never ever truly want to actually do any of the work, that next step for the solutions. Having the problems is always harder than finding the solutions, but yet many people want to hold on to problems because that looks like something to do versus actually being active. So the light workers who are coming, who have signed up to be on the old earth, they are going to be providing the groups with solutions and giving hope and profoundly connecting through love and supporting each other, they will be pillars within their groups.
Thank you. Can we please tap into the woman with the initials JC and ask about what will happen to her after the event, and where is she going?
A big break of ego, a massive shock, suddenly realizing that her assumptions have led her in a very strong path. She should have checked her contract. She should have checked her life purpose. And her ego and her arrogance has distracted her from noticing something that was right in front of her. It is very purposeful. This is to pay off a lot of karma. There is a lot of karma there.
Thank you. I want to shift this conversation a little bit and ask about the tool that's here on Earth with the human design chart, the soul blueprint. Is this a helpful tool to understand yourself a little bit more here?
As much as humans can understand humans, yes. I mean, it is trying to put you into a different box. So if it resonates with you, and if this is what you want to identify with, then yes, go with it. You can manifest whatever you want to believe in yourself and understand yourself more.
Thank you for that. Do you have any, actually, I remember the question. Is there any information that we are able to know at this point about the new Earth?
Yes, yes, indeed. Well, we've always told you that most of humanity has the option to go if their vibration is high enough at the time of the shift in the event. And so there is always going to be, it's bigger. The planet is bigger than this planet's size. It can hold lots more occupants. Because it is so new, it has not had any of its resources deplenished in any negative way. And the balance in the ecosystem will be so beautifully, wonderfully balanced and in harmony. It will continue on and be so strong for a lot longer. This is the grand plan, is to have this planet be sustainable for a phenomenal amount. It has been worked on so much that it is going to be a jewel in the universe, one of many, but it is going to be a very significant one. And it is going to keep growing with great vibration and harmony. The more that come and explore and expand, that energy will stay on that planet in a positive, just like how with that negative energy that stayed on this planet and is still on this planet, and this is why this planet has exhausted itself. The new Earth is going to not only be sustainable, but it will replenish itself in great concentration. And so it is going to be much more advanced in the fifth dimension for many reasons. It is fantastic. It has had so much work and cleverness involved to be able to make this the oasis, to make this the haven, the physical heaven that so many religious people believe in and hope for. While people have asked if heaven does exist, and we have said no, it doesn't in the past, because you're assuming that you must die to be able to reach heaven. And we're saying you're not dying. You're merely changing shape and form. You are current little caterpillars right now, but you're very close to being able to go into your chrysalises, and we will say that that is the analogy we will state to you for your transformation to new earth. And so you'll be in your chrysalises, and you will be transforming and evolving on your journey. And when you finally arrive on the new earth, you will be able to spread your wings. Of course, you will not need to have wings because there is no need for them. Because even if you wanted to fly, it would be quite different from the extensions of levitational devices on your body. It will be a frequency. And so it is very exciting. There is more information that we can share about the new earth. Absolutely, more information is being supplied now because it is acceptable to be allowed to hear this and know about this at this time. So there's more beings now that are very excited and attracted to come to this. Many of your guides and your spiritual teams, they all are so excited about this because they know about this. That it's almost like it's an open invite to their friends and family from different lifetimes, and everyone has more opportunity to be able to come to this beautiful planet. Many people saw how this planet on Earth was supposed to be a destination of fun and to have physical experiences which had the range of emotions that one could explore and journey with. This is going to be very exciting for many beings to be able to have access to the new earth, because there is that element of physical still, and many advanced beings haven't been physical for so long. It's kind of like, oh, well, it's so new, it looks so popular and trendy right now, why not just have a little splash around and be like kids again? Because when you are physical, you are so little with your concepts. So going down to the fifth dimension is going to be a little bit of a fun thing for some beings who want to have that break away from their distractions of their other work that they're doing, either on their planets or other space systems. So it is more exciting because you have more opportunity to meet different species that are all advanced beings that are wanting to experience the fun and joy of it, which means you will have more opportunities to learn and grow from them as they are masters of their own rights. They will come down with some of their amazing skill sets. Some of those skill sets you may already know, but others, this is a fantastic opportunity to expand your toolkits and to be able to share with each other. It is phenomenal, the love and support and the learning that you will have on the new earth. And it is a gift, and it is a testament for everyone who has worked here now to be able to help pull together with all different fractions of Starseeds to be able to assist with this, this, I want to say the most appropriate word, this advancement of this planet is not good enough. We want to say the liberation of this planet. There is many who are here as volunteers that do want to go to the new earth just to have this celebration and this play, this playtime, being still physical but not quite, and experiencing that. It is so joyful, so joyful. It is going to be very relieving for many. And while we understand that many are very struggling and scared a little bit for what they're perceiving they're going to lose here, you only gain. You lose nothing. You lose nothing and stop being addicted to materialism, because that stunts your spirituality and you ignore your inner work and growth when you are placing physical. materialism over expansion of your consciousness. So you learn from that quite quickly, and this is just part of the addictions that 3D beings have. And there's no judgment, but we want to reassure the people who are very excited about the shift and are longing for this shift to New Earth. It will be all your Christmases and birthdays rolled into one, but in a very positive way. All your hopes and dreams that you had on Christmas Eve, all of those Christmases rolled into one, because we understand that sometimes the hope and expectations of the reality of your Christmases and birthdays are quite anticlimactic potentially. So we're wanting to say all of your best versions of your birthdays and your Christmases all rolled into one, plus 1 trillion billion. And that is going to be how you feel on the day that you shift and you land, you walk, and you feel a new earth.
Thank you. Not that I want to rush the experience at all, but will a good majority of people or beings stay on New Earth once they get there for a while, or will they just stay there for a little bit and leave? And then I have another question after this about this.
So the bodies here on this earth are just disposable. And so that may sound shocking to many, but that's the truth. And so this is why you had to have many lifetimes on this planet to get all your experiences that you had hoped for. When you're on the new earth in your crystalline fifth dimension body, that you don't need to keep reincarnating because of to try and keep living and getting all those different experiences. You are consistently the one body, because you can live as long as you want really on the fifth dimension, but you are wanting to explore as much as you can and learn as much as you can. So if you think, right, I'm just going to learn how to, shall we say, bake cookies, okay, I've mastered baking cookies, I'm out. There's nothing else on this planet that inspires me to learn from. So I'm done. I'm going to eat my cookies and go. And so some other people and beings will want to master the whole range of cuisine options and master all of the recipes, and then focus on gardening or whatever. There is so much that you can learn. And we just mentioned the cookies and the gardening, but the reality is the lessons you can experience and learn is more about manipulating energy and creating energy and harnessing energy. And there's so much more than the physical cookies. That's probably the worst analogy we could have said about what the opportunity of what you could learn. So this is, again, while you have free will, because you do have free will in the fifth dimension on New Earth, you get to explore and master whatever you want. And when you feel like you are done, you feel like there is some other opportunity that you want to go and explore, you have the free will to either travel off planet or decide to advance and evolve and be no longer physical but more conscious. And so this is, you will have so much support, you'll have so much guidance. So it's all again about your inner work. And we want to impress on people who are still struggling with their inner work. No one's going to do your inner work now, and no one's going to do your inner work when you get to New Earth. You're still having to do it yourself. So those people who are not really wanting to focus and empowering themselves, you're going to be resisting the whole way. And that's hard. That is like running uphill with, all of the shopping bags from all of your groceries. You don't want baggage while you're running up a hill. You want to go as light as possible. And so release the resistance and just not run. Skip with joy and know that this is all a journey, and it's not the destination that you're wanting to go to, because you've already had the destination. You've already been to source, and that's the ultimate destination point. And so it's not about, it's always growing and expanding. And there are some people with their hands folded saying, no, I'm just going to wait till I get to that destination. Destination doesn't stop at 5D. Your destination stops when you evolve and grow and expand and master all of the dimensions. So as soon as you can get over that and realize that this is a really fun, blessing opportunity, and you dragging yourself reluctantly through all of the dimensions is going to be a pretty challenging approach. So use your free will. You can decide how you want to approach it, but it can have so much fun and joy. And the more you get bothered and annoyed and triggered by happy people, this is a reflection on your lack of willingness to get on with it and not, I want to say, buy into the peer pressure of being happy and having inner peace. That's the new trend we want to set.
Thank you. Are we, from listening to what you were just saying, I want to clarify, are we able to, I know we can evolve into a higher dimension, but are we able to travel off planet, off of the 3D, and off of the 5D, I'm sorry, the 5D new Earth, and then come back to the new Earth? And then is there such thing as planet jumping?
Yes, there is. There is. You are not just stuck on that one planet, but we don't. We want people to kind of settle in first. So you will not even know that there's really an option. There'll be so much. You'll be like a kid in a candy land where you have just got so many options and you want to experience everything. And then when you've experienced everything, then you want to mix two of everything together and see what that experience tastes like. And then you want three of everything in your mouth at the same time and see what that feels like. So, it's not just a quick little, I'll just get one thing and go. So you'll be having to experience a lot first before going. You will be tempted when you do have the opportunity to explore other places, but think of it this way. You've got one huge experience on New Earth that you can spend a long time on mastering. The potential of being physical is going to another 5D planet. And so you can't just, you can't really, you can kind of, do you evolve out of being physical to then be just consciousness to then grab another physical body? No, you can't really devolve like that. When you want to get the physical body again, you must kind of either reincarnate or be a soul essence, which is still consciousness. It's not physical. So yes, you can jump from different planets, but it would be going to a different planet, which is in 5D, which has just as much and different experiences again. So it's like you could just hop many different planets, but you would get to a point where you have mastered everything in 5D, and then like everything that you can master really is on New Earth in the 5th dimension. It's just going to be a different looking in some ways, but still everything's still the same. So it's kind of like a different franchise of New Earth, but different, because there'll be just different energies as well, because it will be potentially an older 5D planet will have different frequencies, different energy frequencies on there. So what is being offered on the New Earth is the full range of everything that's on that side of the universe and is capable of it. So it is pretty much everything that you can ever have candy wise and lesson wise and experience wise, if that makes sense. So we are saying you can jump and move to other planets, yes, you can also explore. There is much, but it won't be first off. Many people will just need to acclimatize and support, and many people still have to do humanitarian work, and that will take some time to honor that as well. So we know that you just want to get out and do many things as possible. And we say, Erica, there is always time for you to do everything you want to do. So instead of prioritizing everything as the best and the most important and then work down your list, we say just live random, and all that you do, regardless of what ranking it is on your list, is always going to be purposeful and wonderful. So it is about enjoying where you are now, and not ranking it from the most important to the least important. Everything's significant. And you know that. You know that. We're not answering your question fully because we have more things to say. There will be beings who are just temporary to help and experience this physical. While that is going to be their holiday, and you may connect with them so much that you may think, I really want to go back to your planet. That sounds amazing. It may be, brace yourselves, it may be 3D planet. So you may have to travel with them, but you will be in a different perspective. You'll sense things differently. You will not interact as much in the 3D while you're in your 5D body because they will not be able to see you. So you will be above them, but just within them. They're not going to be able to sense you because you are flickering at a much higher frequency. You will be invisible. And so you will be able to experience many. There will be guardians from that planet. You may be quite interested in hearing and seeing and exploring their systems, Erica. And so you will go and travel with them potentially just to check it out, be out of curiosity. And then you could come back to New Earth, just because your curiosity always will lead you into the most fascinating experiences. Right now you're thinking, well, this earth is not very fascinating and my life is, I'm trying to find my joy. And we say, you're still going to experience, and you are experiencing, the fascination of the obsessions, of the emotions others have and how it leads them in life. It makes really no sense to you because you're like, how are you living? You're so living through emotion. Is the most, like, almost the most dangerous and most stupidest way to approach things. And you have got methodical maps for your inner work and direction, whereas other people seem like they're just, what do we say, headless chickens, but running with emotion.
Beautiful. Thank you for thank you for that, and definitely putting these things to practice every day. Every day is practicing these lessons.
And this is, you have so many lessons. Everyone has so many lessons that we want you to think of every day as a new clean slate. And so just focusing on your reactions and your experiences and the people you're dealing with is a very new, it's a very new opportunity. But many people just see it as a groundhog. There is no opportunity. It's the same people, it's the same job, it's the same house, it's the same whatever. It's never the same. You just assume it's the same. So many people are missing the opportunities for that growth when you assume the person is going to react the same. There is so much opportunity for change and expansion, but when you're assuming and just going through life on autopilot, you're going to miss all of the opportunities that you could have to work on your inner growth. And we're not talking to you, Erica. We're talking to the people hearing this, because many people say, how am I supposed to get my inner growth? There is nothing here. It's all the same. It's boring. My husband's asleep. My children are asleep. I'm whatever. And so people are missing the opportunities to see that there is inner work and connections right in front of them.
Thank you. Even if someone is in autopilot or just going along, are people constantly changing every day, every second, or is it possible to not change at all and just be the same, if that makes sense?
There is constant change for many things. You're talking about if you don't do any acknowledgement of any of your issues, you never deal with your triggers, you never deal with the things that you're avoiding. That's when there's stagnation there, and you're not changed. Many people are changing the way that people see them by their repeating of their reactions, whether it's their anger or their self-doubt. People change, and if you're not the agent of change, other people around you will be. And so the universe has a great way of forcing you to change. It's cute that you think that you could not change when we are here with your life contract that you agreed to experience. And we know that you're going to be annoyed with us if we don't push you in the right direction because of your directions and instructions for us. And so if your life contract was never change, be completely oblivious to your inner growth and work, and don't have much respect or love for yourself, we don't see that in anyone's contracts here.
Beautiful. Right now, do you have any messages for Joe?
Yes, this sort of one. We want to say all is well, and we can see that the content and information in the book is already there. It's a fine line between triggering them into knowing that they are the starseeds that they are, because it makes them feel that there is something wrong with them. I mean, they could potentially be open to understanding that every soul wants to experience all different versions of being starseed families. It's important to be able to understand the history and the way that the lives and cultures are between each species. There is no difference between the different species because they all have experiences. It is no good or bad, we say. There is differences, but there is no good or bad. And it is all very valid and interesting to have those experiences. So again, it's like being in the candy shop. You choose to have these bigger life contracts with your soul's growth to be that extension of self. And as you are going through and living all these different lives, having these different experiences, that you cannot be judgment of where your background is. This is part of humans tripping up ego, where you assume you are from one country, so those are your people, and everyone else in a different country is different and a foreigner. And we say there is no good or bad countries. You're all living in countries. You're all living on one planet. You are really humanity. You are humanity at its whole. And it doesn't matter about your backgrounds and your DNA structures. You're still experiencing the same thing together. You're still co-creating this together. And you have free will. And we would like you more to use your inner power for yourself. We want you to talk to yourself about the truths that you know and find out what is struggling with you. What is your weak spots? What is the conversation you would not want to have with anyone else? What are you hiding that you think that you're hiding from yourself that you don't want to deal with and explore? Most people have something that they don't want to talk about, an event, a situation, a thought, a feeling, a conversation, a relationship. What are the things that you are still not wanting to go there with? This is holding you back. And when you realize that you can go there and explore it, it will empower you to realize that it's in the past, it stays in the past, but because you're holding back and you're not empowering yourself, that is impacting you. To be able to look at your whole life and accept it for a beautiful journey. And beautiful can be challenging and hard and confusing, but you must see it as a positive. Remember that there is no problems, there's solutions. And finding the joy in things and finding a high vibrational perspective is always going to give you that greater joy. We are speaking for most of the people here because you are all meant to be a high vibrational. This is the reason why you continue listening to us. And the people that are needing to stay on the old earth are not always going to be high vibrational because of their DNA structure. So there is no difference to who you are. You've got soul experiences. There is no judgment. It's different experiences, different holiday destinations, shall we say. So it is so much information to pack into the most important situations that you need to know. And it has all naturally been unfolded. There is nothing urgently important that we must advise you on. And why is that, you ask? It's because we've got everything handled. We want you to just focus on the 3D and be able to help each other, help humanity in the 3D. And the best way that you can help others is by helping yourself. And you all should be so proud of yourselves and love yourselves. But we see ego there. We see ego there still. We still see some people that are not wanting to help others because they're kind of selfish with the energy. They kind of don't think that what's the point? Why should I help someone else? You have to be so caring and giving to each other with genuineness. This may come as a surprise to many, but when you're not genuine, it just screams out to others who know that your intention is to manipulate and to trick and fool others. And you're only tricking and fooling yourself. So this is important for you to realize. This is why you must be honest with yourself. Because if you think that you can fool others, you're just foolish. No one's fooling anyone at this stage. Everyone's more advanced and intuitive and knows the intentions and agendas of others. And so when you're hiding your inner work, thinking that it's the most cleverest way, no one's going to see your inner work. And it's only invisible to you because it's gigantic to everyone else. And if you wanted to have peer pressure to jump onto your inner work and really, really start being a humanitarian and having unconditional love for others, this is the time to do it. You will be only frustrated with yourself when you have not.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So grateful for your knowledge and time today. And we will talk to you soon again.
Yes, absolutely. The construct of time and soon we will agree to that.